Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back. We're currently watching a King of the Hill, Heart of the Storm exhibition style. We had A-Bomb winning game number 1, and then we had Catz coming in as the challenger and winning game number 2. And now we're going to have a ZVZ. The Terrans are nowhere to be found today.
Guess they're all hiding out.
Yeah, I guess who knows where they are. But let's go ahead and jump into the next game here. Should be pretty exciting. Now, ZVZ is going to be dramatically different from Wings of Liberty. Because there's been a lot of Zerg changes, and you know, mutas I've heard have been the pretty big part of the metagame as far as ZVZ is concerned. So yeah, this is one of the first ZVZs honestly I've casted in Heart of the Storm, so I'm personally really looking forward you know, to seeing what these two players have in store for us. Of course, here we are in the bottom side of the map. We got Elvis, the blue Zerg player, number 16, or actually number 10 in the Heart of the Storm Grandmaster ladder. Oh, actually, this is Catz in the bottom, excuse me. Catz is going to be the blue Zerg player. And at the top side of the map, we have the yellow Zerg, Elvis. Elvis is number 10 in the Heart of the Storm Grandmaster, and he's one of those players that has really come out, you know, to play in Heart of the Storm. Like, it's so interesting because the top GM players we're seeing in Heart of the Storm, you might not necessarily have heard of in Wings Liberty, but it's a testament to you know, how well they're adapting to this new game, how well they're able to come up with new strategies and really take advantage of all the new tools available to them.
It is. You know, it's a combination of experience with the new game, and of course the ability to pick up new things quickly. I think Catz is a great example of a player who's really kind of he's good at coming up with a wacky strat, which of course is going to be extra strong in a beta when everyone really isn't quite sure what they're doing. There aren't any stabilized build orders yet, and so I think this is an environment where Catz will thrive in.
Yeah, and we already see a pretty big deviation from last game. Last game it was all about expansions. It was all about drones, all about additional Nexi. Nothing about gases in the early part of the game, and we're seeing both these players going for, it looks like, relatively fast gases, relatively fast pulls, at least compared to last game. So it looks like they want to get that Zergling speed out pretty quickly, and of course have the ability to go for the Ling Baneling stuff. Identical builds right now, both starting Lings and Queens at the same time. The only deviation here is Catz starting speed right away, and there we go, speed from Elvis. It might have been a little bit late because he had about 30 gas built up before he started that. But,
it could be,
yeah.
or you know, maybe he just wanted to balance his minerals out a little bit better, or some such thing. It's always hard to tell exactly what their plans are without being exact in their minds. I think Elvis is a player. You know, I mentioned how the beta would be great for Catz, but I think Elvis will like it as well. He loves Mulas. He's one of those players who really loves Mulas. Although this game, it looks like maybe because of the map, both these players are opting to do some one base aggression. Yeah,
the ramp is pretty wide here. So one queen obviously isn't going to be enough to, you know, to keep any sort of run by from happening. Yeah, you need quite a few. Now we have a small little engagement, small little skirmish here in the middle of the map. Catz is going to come out on top there, taking down some of the links from his opponent. Units lost shows 5-3.
Did Elvis cancel Bane Nest?
I definitely saw it in that production tab.
You know what happened?
Huh.
He was going to go Banelings if Catz took an expansion. And then he realized, okay, Catz is going one-base Baneling, so I'm going to cancel my Bane Nest and go Roaches because I think one-base Roach is better than one-base Baneling. Whether or not that's true, we'll wait and see. But it was definitely a reaction to realizing that Catz is going one-base himself, and Catz is actually getting a Spine Crawler.
Yeah.
A little bit early.
That implies he wants to be defensive, also morphing Banelings back home rather than on his opponent's side of the field. We have some Banelings coming in here from Catz, getting some solid detonations, taking out a Queen. Speed is kicked in from both these players, but that could have been much worse for Elvis, I think. But pretty solid trades there from Catz, up 12-8 in the units lost down.
And killing that Queen is really, really, really nice, because Elvis actually was about to inject again. So he's missing an entire injection cycle, which is pretty significant. Of course, this is mitigated by the fact he's going Roaches, which are more larvae efficient than Zerglings or Banelings.
Yes.
So it's not quite as big a deal.
Yeah. Or
actually, they're less larvae efficient than Banelings, but more than Zerglings.
All right, so it looks like Elvis wants to do some aggression here. Has to be a little bit careful. Catz is going to see this with his Overlords. And he has to be careful because Lings are obviously much faster than Roaches, and Catz could potentially do a counterattack as this is happening. But that leaves your base vulnerable because you won't have that link, those links to defend. So Catz is going to add on a second Spinecrawler, taking his natural expansion hatchery, and Elvis is marching across the field with 6 roaches. We'll have to see how much damage they can do, but I think Catz should have enough here to hold this off.
He has a transfuse ready, 2 Spinecrawlers, a decent number of speedings. Maybe if he had like 20 speedings backing up the roaches, he could do something, but he's chosen to macro behind it, and that's going to equalize things, because, I mean, Catz did take this start seriously. He did make, you know, about 14 speedings. He did get 3 Spinecrawlers. So it's going to kind of balance out. Both players should equalize as far as economy and army size go.
Yeah, and I honestly like that move from Elvis because Catz saw this coming from a long way off. So Catz is going to be forced to react, making additional units, making additional Spinecrawlers. And now he has 3 spines and all these lanes, a lot of which could have been drones. Could have been other stuff like additional gases, another queen, even another hatchery potentially. So, you know, nice little fake aggression there from Elvis. And he's just going to back up and use these roaches to wall off so his opponent can't get into his main natural expansion. So I really like how Elvis is playing this. And all of a sudden he's up 48 to 36 in supply. Now, a lot of that is due to these roaches. But income tax should be a little bit more important there. Catz is going to be ahead there, 23 to 21. So I think we're fairly even at this point in time.
It does look like it's evening out. Catz does have that upgrade advantage on the way. He's got that Zerglin melee upgrade halfway done. Zerglin Carapace just started. Elvis hasn't even put down an evolution chamber yet, but he does have that lair going. And like I said, he does like Mulis, although it is kind of a little bit rare to make that many roaches then go into Mulis.
Yeah, it is, because of course, you know, roaches cost a pretty decent amount of gas, so that's less gas you're pouring into your mutas, and he's only on 1 gas. He's been on 1 gas this entire game, so mutas would be, I'd be very surprised if he put down a Spire at this point in time, considering he just, quite frankly, doesn't have a lot of gas.
He was doing the dreaded Overseer rush, rushing out that lair to get this Overseer, checking out what Catz is up to. And now he finds out Catz is going to be on 4 gas. Yep. So now he may think, okay, maybe I'm not going Mulis, but Catz may be, in fact.
Yeah, he's going to see the double Evo chamber as well, and he's going to see a lack of a Roach Warren.
That's, I mean, double Evo actually probably makes it less like it's Mulis.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, at least in Wings of Liberty, but in Heart of the Storm, who knows? Maybe you can go Mulis and not get as many.
Maybe it's a Swarm Host.
It could be.
Ever heard of that unit?
I have.
Yeah.
I played Zerg Mir and I tried to mass Swarm Hosts, and I was feeling really good because they went Mulis and I had all these little like piggy guys they make.
Yeah.
And then the piggy guys don't shoot air.
No, they don't.
And my strategy kind of failed.
They're
as
called
all my units
locusts.
died to Mulis.
No, they're called
Locusts.
Locusts?
I don't. Yeah, let's call them.
Should
I
we-
actually.
Should we know that? I think we should.
I think we should. I'm gonna call them piggy guys because they look kind of like little
Locust minions.
little wild boars.
Locust
But it was pretty cool. It was cool up until they all died.
Yeah.
Catz getting more and more Spinecrawlers, continuing to upgrade, going for Infestors.
I like it.
But I think he's going to really focus on Zerglings, or, you know what, he could be doing something like an Ultralisk Rush.
Yes, he could be. Ultra's much better.
Oh, they gave it that massive buff.
Yes.
They made it so it does like 25 damage per hit to all types of units, which makes it, actually, it's going to be the second or third highest DPS in the game now against everything. And it has Splash, so overall it's probably the best DPS in the game of any unit.
Now, of course, the problem is if your opponent does decide to make mutas, then Ultras, you know, might not be as effective, but...
This is true. He can just go in Fasters then. I mean, he'll go in Fasters. If his opponent goes Mulis, he'll get more and more in Fasters.
Yep.
And maybe some Hydralists to support him because Hydralists are faster now.
It's a very gas-intensive composition.
It is.
And he's on 2 bases, 4 gases, adding on a 3rd hatchery here. Now, additional bases aren't too difficult to obtain. The rush distance is very long.
He could just mass Queens against Mulis, and the Queens can transfuse each other around Ultralis.
I like it.
Yeah, there we go. Problem solved. I've
But he
discovered his build.
he hasn't
Except he's not
started-
going Hive, so...
And he hasn't started Queens.
Yeah, maybe my whole theory is totally flawed.
He's just going League Infestor straight up,
Yeah, it looks like he is.
which is fine.
It's going to be interesting. How does Zerglin Infestor compare against Roach Hydra, though? I would think Roach Hydra should do pretty well against it, unless you can hit
As long as you
Yeah, it
emphasize
has really good
counterattacks. Emphasize counterattacks
yeah.
with Lings, because Roach Hydra is all about... It's not the most mobile composition in the world.
They need to add in some Banings or something to help defend against those.
Uh-huh.
That's such a cool graphic for the Hydra to speed.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It looks kind of like Bones. It looks very bony, which is Zergy,
Yes.
right?
It does. I agree with your assessment of the Hydralisk speed image.
I like it. He's just staying on 2 bases. Elvis. Is he can do some massive push? He doesn't have many upgrades.
He has a lot of roaches and a lot of hydras.
I'm kind of skeptical of this whole idea without getting the range attack upgrade. I mean, the armor's going to be nice.
Maybe he'll start it next. Yeah, it's queued up.
It's going to take... Yeah, but then if he waits for that, it's going to be such a late attack. I mean, Catz will have, like, Ultras out by the time that range attack upgrade finishes if he does decide to go for it.
All right, well, he's actually going to push out now. He's going to be able to take out plenty of Overlords here, and he's up 138 to 93 supply. Now, a lot of Catz's supplies and infestors, so you can be very cost efficient with those. I could see Catz even potentially forfeiting this third base.
Oh, yeah. There's no reason to try to defend it. I mean, he'll... Because he can easily hold his ramp.
Unless he moves spines out.
Yeah, I think it would be unnecessary risk, because he has to know Elvis is on 2 bases, right? And he has to know he has better tech, because he's seen the Master Hydra army. So there's no reason to try to take a risky engagement. All he has to do is not die, and then he should be in a massively advantageous position once those Ultras come on to play. I mean, he's banking money for them.
Here's the link counterattack we were talking about a little bit earlier. Catz, seeing his opponent was moving out, going to target down the queen at the natural. Every larva inject is so important at this point in time, especially if you're trying to construct some sort of 2-base timing attack.
And these are brutal Zergies, man. 2/2 upgrades. They will not die.
Yeah, and they're actually taking down Roaches pretty fast.
Take him down.
Yeah.
They're vicious little critters.
And he can start. He's already got +3 carapace on the way. He can start Adrenal Glands if he wants. So they're going to stay vicious throughout this entire game, and Catz is adding on that Ultralisk Cavern. He has 6 gases, plenty of gas income, trying to track down this queen. Looks like it's going to survive. But now Elvis has said enough is enough. I am through with your shenanigans. I'm going to push right here, right now. Sending his roaches and hydras across the field now. His splitting is going to have to be very important because he doesn't want to be vulnerable to those infestors. And he's going to hit before these 5 ultras pop, unless Catz can just delay with fungals for a very long time, because ultras take a bit of time to create. So Elvis is going to try to win right here. At the same time, Catz going for a counterattack.
Elvis is he gonna try to I think he feels he has to try and knock out this main base. Where the fungal grows. He didn't fungal them on the ramp. He let the entire army up.
Catz.
Not utilizing that choke point.
Wasn't watching. I think he was paying attention to his lings on the other side of the map, and now he's a little bit vulnerable to these hydras and these roaches. 5 ultras about to pop. Catz desperately trying to form a defense here. Spine crawlers are gone. And there's no overseers here. Oh, yes, there is. So the infestors are vulnerable. Fungals going down here. And 7 ultras trying to get out. And here they come. Can they clean up this many roaches and hydras?
Oh, his base is working against him, though. Some of these ultras are kind of stuck between the buildings or behind drones. Gonna need some great transfusions. 2 more ultras come to play. The roaches are all really red.
Very weak roaches here. Catz just needs some key ultra swipes. Elvis trying to kite as much as possible, trying to get those ultras in a choke point so he can maximize his damage output. And keep his roaches alive, but it looks like Catz is going to clean this up, and all of a sudden he's up 76 to 55 in supply, and Elvis doesn't have any drones.
That's
he's
bad.
15 drones.
It's when you have no economy.
Yeah.
That's usually a bad thing in StarCraft.
It is, usually.
He does have another
Unless
little...
you're Terran.
Exactly, because then you have mules.
Yes.
He does have a bit of roaches here, though. Maybe these can come out and do an attack. Because Catz cannot build Ultras anymore. His Ultra Cavern is dead. But he does have these vicious Zerglings, and this is a small enough forest. If Catz has a larva at his disposal, I feel like he could just beat this with just Zerg Infestor.
Elvis hasn't remade his queens, I don't think, or they were killed again. So his larva output isn't going to be incredible, but again, he doesn't have a ridiculous economy, so as far as that's concerned, it doesn't matter too much.
Does he know about the bottom left base?
That's...
I mean, I feel even if he knew about it, when he did attack...
He has to know, because the ultras. He saw like 7 ultras. Okay, he's going to swing down there and check.
Okay. Now he knows about it for sure. And he is going to take this out. I don't think Catz is going to really even try to defend this.
Almost trading third for third there. Elvis able to keep his third base alive. Catz is going to burrow his drones. Unburrow them, and burrow them again.
Doing push-ups.
Yes.
This is the Zerg way doing push-ups.
Because
we talk about how insects are much stronger than people, right? So a normal push would be too easy for Zerg. So they have to actually crush up the ground.
Yes.
And dig, and then keep walking back up. That's the only way they can get a really good workout. Catz is getting a nice army, though, now.
And he's going to do another counterattack into his opponent's main base. Drones are going to fall again. And there's the victory screen. Unfortunately for Elvis, he's going to fall. Now, what an interesting game we had there.
It was.
Elvis, he didn't seem terrible. He did a lot of damage to Catz, but the difference was, like, he didn't have anything to defend the counterattacks.
You need a couple banelings.
A couple banelings, maybe a couple spines would be worth it in that case. Maybe keep a squadron of roaches back home, 6 or 7. Not a crazy amount, because you want most of your army.
To be fair, though, even if he defended the counters well, if Catz hit the fungals on the ramp and just kept the units on the ramp, he would have held it without a problem.
Well, in theory, Elvis could have just sent in 2 roaches or 3 roaches at a time.
Just 5 spines.
6 or 7 roaches. You could just split them up as they go up.
Yeah, if he did them in waves, you would have been a lot harder from those. Taking a lot more
I agree with you. But Catz played that pretty well. Very interesting strategy, going for the Infestor Ultra. Really hyper speed upgrades, just skipping roaches completely. Hyper upgrades on the links. But very interesting game there. Catz is on a 2-game winning streak. Again, you need 5 to be the victor. So we'll have to see if he can make it happen. We're going to look for someone else in the MLG channel on Heart of the Storm. So if you're a top GM player or a pro player, feel free to jump to the channel. We might pick you. But that being said, we'll be back after a quick break with game number 3, or actually it would be game number 4 because Catz is 2-0 of this Heart of the Storm exhibition of Winter.